That whole Coast Guard group. Carol. Carol. Remembers everybody else.
Hello. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome you to honor our veterans, past, present, and future.
Ho! Ho! Present! Ho!
National anthem. Laying of the wreath.
Present! Ho! Order! Ho! Color guard. Retire. Halt.
One time. Mark. My turn. Mark.
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes our ceremonies here at the courthouse. For the parade, for veterans who would like to participate in the parade but do not think that they can march or do not choose to march, we have a trailer float available as well as a bus that will follow the parade up at the end. Again, this concludes our ceremonies. We appreciate you coming out. Please join us at the end of the parade at the Veterans Memorial Park for the ceremonies there. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Hey, Marlon.
How you?
I'm doing good. Good to see you.
You're smart. You don't climb ladders.
No, I don't.
You didn't hear what they said. He said if I hit the road out here, I said, well, there'll be a buzzer to clean me up. I said, they'd be feeding for days.
That's what I just got that. You got enough cameras?
I do. Too many.
I'd offer to help you, but I can't.
I appreciate it. I'm used to it.
I can't see well enough, and with my glasses and stuff, I'm okay, but I don't like one.
The nice thing is they autofocus. That's my biggest.
Well, yeah. What, 999? Is that how many pictures you got?
It's probably 10,000 on that car.
Woo! I'm not that tall, but you're going to be taking some.
got the best kind of camera.
Get down here and bells for a while. Sad. Get out of the jail. I'm going to tell him he needs to change it to Wednesday. They don't play it.
This is the best.
Because I voted for Thursday, but when they were asking, it's not a good option.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Can everybody hear us okay this morning? We got another PA system. Hopefully it's a lot better. Before we get started, I'd like to ask everybody to silence your cell phones. If you haven't already, please either cut them off or put them on vibrate, whatever you need to do. It's good to see this great number out this morning. We've been blessed with great weather. Not too cold, a little bit windy, but not too cold. And the parade went off well. Everybody made it. They're either getting in better shape or, well, I'll not go there. I was going to say getting a lot younger. Maybe that too. But anyway, my name's Tommy Hickey. I'm the chairman of the Veterans Memorial Park Board of Directors. And before we get started, I'd like to ask my brother in arms, Brother Ron Follett, if he can come and open up with prayer, please.
Thank you, Tommy. Before we have prayer, I want you to be able to look down at your feet and see what your feet are upon. This is the land of the free. I want you to be able to look around and see those that are your neighbors. As you see them, the reason we can assemble here this morning is because of veterans, and even those who are serving on the front lines at this very tumultuous hour. I want you to be able to look up, even as the sky is cloudy over. It's because of the protecting hand of the Almighty that this nation is what it is today. And those who put on a uniform to be able to represent you their neighbors. Most of them were teenagers or early 20s. Individuals who answered the call of the red, white, and blue. And so this morning, in reverence to all veterans, those who are here, those who are resting in the dusty bed, and those who are fully desirous to have been able to be here, but are limited in their ability because of illness or the wounds that they received in serving the USA. Those who are in the Veterans Hospital. I would like to invite you together to stand with me as we have a moment of silence, and then we will go into prayer. This morning, O God, faithful Father, the one who guided in the establishment of this great nation, the one who has given the courage to fill the hearts of those who have defended it, to be able to bring forth the fullness of freedom, willing to pay the price that others may enjoy the joy of life. We are so thankful that we can gather here in remembrance of veterans. We're so thankful that we have this nation, that veterans were willing to serve. And as we celebrate here today, may it be under your covering hand. May it be that we recognize you as the creator of the universe, the one who has promised to bring peace upon this world. And so it is together. We look forward to the day when the plowshare will be only that of which it cuts the furrow in the ground. We look forward to when the sword is no longer needed. We look forward to the day when the fullness of peace will be ours. And so it is with thanks in our hearts and with gratitude beyond that to which that our own words could express. We give you the honor and the glory for which you truly are worthy. For we ask all these things in the precious name of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen.
You can be seated. At this time, I'd like to introduce our members of our board that conducts the business and donations, your monies, everything that goes into the maintenance, the upkeep of the park, the additions that we put in to the park. And some of them are on vacation, couldn't be here today. Some, I guess, are in attendance out here. The biggest part are either participating or had to work today. That being said, Mr. James Quinn, Diane Overstreet, Johnny Cordell, Tom Eggleston, James Seals, William Barker, Alfred Myers, Randy Miller, Janice Kaiser, Dwayne Land, and Keith Cartwright. At this time, our combined color guard, which consists of our local veterans organizations, the American Legion Post 190 and the Veterans of Foreign Wars Post 5772, will now present their colors. American Legion, Post 190, post your colors. Veterans of Foreign Wars, Post 5772, post your colors.
Color guard. Mark time. Right.
At this time, please remain standing. We'll have the national anthem by Jacqueline Bruce from Music Makers.
Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
At this time, we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag by Dan Littleton.
Please join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, you turn your attention to the Valley Honor Guard and be prepared for the firing of the rifles as they present the 21-gun salute. Okay, Sequatchie Valley Honor Guard, you may be excused. We appreciate you and thank you for all your support every year. These volunteers, these men have other ceremonies to conduct the rest of the afternoon. Is the reason they have to leave so early. At this time, y'all can be seated. And at this time, we will have music by our Sequatchie County Band under the direction of Sergeant Tim Willis. Thank you. Thank you. At this time, we'll have our guest speaker. It's a local veteran, Mr. Johnny Cordell.
Thank you, Tommy. Good morning.
Morning.
Can you hear me out there in the back? All right. I got to get situated here. It's hard when you get old to be able to read. Tommy didn't tell you that we had a speaker and they were obligated, and he asked somebody else and they were obligated. So I'm third choice today. So bear with me. And by the way, this is not, it's just one page, so hopefully it won't take that long. When we commenced this wall many years ago, there was a discussion about how to put the names on the wall. Should we put them in alphabetical order, or should we draw names out of a hat? Should we list the wars? Quite a bit of discussion, but we ended up basically drawing names out of a hat. If brothers, several brothers, we would put them together. Otherwise, they were basically drawn out of a hat. And this was to, when people come to look for a relative or someone they knew, they have to search for it. And when you search for things, sometimes you have more of appreciation of this monument and this wall itself. I know after it was finished, I was here one day and a lady came and she was looking for one of her uncle or someone. And during the course of that search, she saw a name and she said, "Well, that's my neighbor. I didn't even know he was in service. I didn't know he served in the war." So that is what I'm going to talk about today. One of the things that I do at my church is we have a publication every month, and I do a history article. Since I had such a short notice, I thought I would pull one of those articles out, and it's one page, and do that today, and it's entitled Veterans Among Us. I was born in 1947, a baby boomer. Baby boomers, for the most part, were a product of World War II veterans that had returned home after the war, or anyone born between the years of 1946 and 1964. So it wasn't until I was almost 5 years old that I began to comprehend somewhat about war. I would overhear my daddy and his friends talking about a place called Korea. And if it was mentioned at the dinner table, my mama would start nervously fingering the ends of her well-worn apron. It wasn't until later years that I learned that her nephew had persuaded his mother into signing his enlistment papers, but she wasn't truthful about his age. He was not 17, but 15, and at age 16, he was in the thick of combat in Korea. In the succeeding years and in adult life, I began to realize that many or most of my neighbors, relatives, and church members were World War I, World War II, or Korean veterans. The following is a sample list of veterans. Some are local, some are listed from information provided by Marine Corps Chaplain Dennis O'Brien. Now, I'm not going to list any names or call any names today, because I don't have permission from the family or the individual to do so today. One of my church members, who was in the trench warfare of World War I, ripped off his black uniform buttons because he thought they were illuminating his position at night. He came home shell-shocked, but received no counseling and dealt with it the rest of his life as the best he could. Today it is known as PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. And in America, this is a startling statistic, but in America, we lose 22 veterans a day to suicide. 25 years ago, it was the aggravating, slow old guy afflicted with palsy, bagging groceries at the supermarket, who in World War II helped liberate a Nazi death camp, and now wishes his wife was still alive to hold him when the nightmares come. He is another church member who falsified his age and went to World War II at the age of 14. My research indicates that he was the youngest Tennessee veteran of that war. 67 years ago, he was a teenage high school dropout who subsequently began to have problems with law enforcement officials. By the age of 17, he was in court with a judge offering him a choice of jail or military service. His mama signed his papers and was sent to Korea, where his overgrown juvenile behavior was outweighed 100 times on the cosmic scale by 4 hours of exquisite bravery near the 38th parallel. He is a best friend and neighbor who in high school was not a star athlete or a member of the academic honor corps. Yet in the misty, steamy terrain of the Ashaw Valley, this reluctant hero invoked the scripture of John 15:13 by willing to lay down his life for his friends, thus receiving our nation's third highest award. He would later become Sequatchie County High School's most decorated Vietnam veteran. She is the surgical nurse who fought against futility and went to sleep sobbing every night for 2 solid years in Da Nang. He is the Tennessee National Guardsman who spent 6 months in Saudi Arabia, sweating 2 gallons a day, making sure the M1 tanks didn't run out of fuel. Or the IED disposal expert in Afghanistan, who several years ago was disposing of running backs as a linebacker on the high school football team. These are just a few of the veterans among us. Some volunteered, and prior to 1973, many were drafted. But they did their duty anyway in the service of their country. These veterans are ordinary and yet extraordinary human beings. Individuals who offered some of their life's most vital years and sacrificed their ambitions so others would not have to sacrifice theirs. So remember, each time you see someone who has served our country, just lean over and say, "Thank you." That's all most people need. And in most cases, it will mean more than medals. 2 little words mean a lot. Thank you for your attendance today.
At this time, Ms. Patty Harvey and the team from Hopewell Baptist Church will speak.
Good morning. This morning, the teens from Hopewell Baptist Church were unable to make it. And as usual, my granddaughters, who always bail me out, Megan or Emily, stepped in to fill that space so that we could participate again this year. So we're representing Hopewell Road Baptist, but we're also representing the Hardy and the Chapman family. Her sister Megan is playing flute in the band. Her mother and her younger sister are in attendance. So this is just something that we like to do. The youth at Hopewell Road Baptist are taught to serve Christ through serving others. And this is one way we do that. We like to say thank you. We appreciate you for everything that you've done, everything that you've sacrificed, and those people that love you and are at home with you that have sacrificed also. So Emily's going to read a poem. Thank you.
Okay. When I lay down my head every night and go to sleep in peace, I can stay there knowing all is well while you're standing on your feet, keeping watch, protecting shore to shore, in the air and oceans too, defending freedom at all costs for the red, white, and the blue. Thank you, oh thank you, men and women brave and strong. To those who serve so gallantly, we sing this grateful song. To the soldiers who have traveled on to countries far and near, in peace and war you paid the price for the cause you hold so dear. That we may wake each morning bright and know that freedom rings. Because of your great sacrifice, your country joins to sing. Thank you, oh thank you, men and women brave and strong. To those who serve so gallantly, we sing this grateful song.
Thank you.
At this time, we're going to do something a little different that we've not been doing in the past, and Shirley come up with this idea, and I think it's a great idea. We need to remember those veterans that are on this wall behind us who have passed and gone on before us. Never forget Lee Orville Chapman, United States Navy. Riley E. Dennis, United States Air Force. Kelsey Lee Griffith, United States Air Force. Donald O. Hudson, Army Air Corps. Patrick H. Jones, U.S. Army. Paul Thomas Mahoney, U.S. Army. Bill Pittman, U.S. Army. Harvey Martin, U.S. Army, and Ed Overstreet, U.S. Navy. The names that have been added to this wall over the past year are Earl Z. Hill, Army. Fletcher Lee Lewis, U.S. Army. Richard J. McBride, U.S. Army. Bob Hobbs, U.S. Army. Ray Donald Swanner, United States Navy. Edwin D. Overstreet, United States Navy. Diane L. Overstreet, U.S. Navy. Hobart L. Hackworth, Army Air Corps. John Fred Bain, U.S. Navy. Robert L. Elliott, U.S. Army. Ken Godfrey, U.S. Air Force. And Lester L. Kilgore, U.S. Army. I want to bring you up to date on some of our accomplishments that we have made to our part through all of your help. If you didn't notice, our Mighty Mite Jeep got a makeover, got a brand new paint job, and all new letters put on it. Thanks to Mr. Randy Gornick of R&D Signs for contributing his time and labor and helping us with that. And the M59 APC over here, it got a facelift also. Got a brand new paint job on it. Upcoming activities that we want to try and make happen as soon as the weather clears up is we're going to put floodlights on the ground down here. I know a lot of you have requested, I've read it on Facebook and things, to light up the equipment at night. Well, we've got the money, it's going to happen. So will we be putting floodlights on the ground that will light up all of this static display after dark at night? And hopefully that is scheduled to happen as soon as this ceremony is over, it'll start. We will be also be repainting the big A4 Skyhawk and giving it a new facelift starting in the spring, as soon as weather permits. At this time, Johnny, if you'll come forward, it's time for us to do the Branch of Service medley, and the Sequatchie County Band, under the direction of Mr. Tim Willis, will be taking this part of the program over, and Johnny can explain the rest of it to you.
Well, Staff Sergeant Tim Willis is our Sequatchie County High School band director, and he will do a medley of the armed forces. And as you hear your service song, stand up. And then when the next one starts, then the next group stands up. Everybody understand that? Army. Navy. Air Force. Coast Guard. Central Parados. I want to thank the members of the high school band. This is actually this is a 3-day weekend for them. They probably could have been at the beach today, but I appreciate them being here today very much. Give them another round of applause. Thanks, Tim.
Thank you, Johnny. Thank you, Tim Willis and the Sequatchie County Band. We appreciate them so much. Like Johnny said, they're out of school today. They could have been anywhere, but look where they're at. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I can't go without saying what a wonderful program the schools put on for the veterans Friday. They go all out. It brings tears to your eyes too. What a group of kids. And they work hard to help maintain this park, same as everybody else. Between the schools, they come up with right at $1,000 to go toward the maintenance, upkeep, and additions to this memorial park. And we're grateful and thankful for that. We have other organizations. We got the Scouts back here that participate in all the community activities, and we thank them for being here in support today. This pretty well wraps up our ceremony today, unless anybody has anything else to say or want to add to the program. I know I forgot something or left somebody out, or my name wouldn't be Tony Hickey. In closing, we want to thank everybody who has come out and participated and helped make this possible today. I have a list here and hope I didn't leave anybody out. Our American Legion Post 190. Our Veterans of Foreign Wars Post 5772. Citizens Tri-County Bank, who always comes out and supports the veterans. We thank you. Music Makers and Jacqueline for the beautiful music. The Sequatchie County Schools, the Sequatchie County Band, the Valley Honor Guard, Carson Count Photography, the Rescue Squad that helps provide the chairs for us to be seated in, our City Police Department and our Sequatchie County Sheriff's Department for the safety of getting us here, and to the Way of the Cross Baptist Church for the use of their bus. And Mary, where you at, Mary? Wave your hand. Anybody that needs a ride back to the courthouse, if you've left your car there or just need a ride back, she'll be happy to take you in the bus. And the Dunlap United Methodist Church for the sound system today. Thanks to John Kell and James Seals for taking care of this for us. And the band director, Mr. Tim Willis, asked me to announce that the concert for tonight here at the Memorial Park has been canceled due to the incoming weather. We was looking forward to that, brother. So, if nobody else has anything to add to, the last thing I want to do is apologize for the POWMIA flag. We got down here this morning, it was flying upside down. Well, we changed it, but it still wound up upside down. So I promise you, before we leave here today, it will be flying like it's supposed to be.
It's okay now.
Somebody snuck back there behind the back. Thank you. Thank you, whoever was in back there. Okay, in closing, we want to say thank you for your support, your continued support, and your contributions. And don't forget, it's the end of the year. You need those tax write-offs. We're 501c3. All your tax deduction, we'll take it all. So just dig in them pockets and help us out. Thank you for coming today. Thank you very much.